Episode 28. Furious at having been psychically bound by Wesa, Capio reaches to grab her. Wesa responds with a strike from her staff meant to break his legs. A brief melee betwixt the Fellowship and the Death Tamer erupts, wherein Capio repeatedly rages at the lack of honor the defenders of Juramentum display. Merrick bear hugs Capio, beginning to crush his ribs in. Despite Lord Titus ordering Merrick to stand down twice, the intransigent Kithki ignores his rightful commander, demanding repeatedly that Capio ask nicely to be released. The situation devolves into Titus having to pry Merrick off of Capio with his own hands, which he successfully does. Merrick declares that his own personal dignitas was at risk. The Fellowship eventually make their way to the small temple that Lord Lepidus Zosh and his people used to use and likely constructed. There, Wesa, Marcus, and especially Nilishly investigate the still sacred space for clues as to the name of the guardian of the cathedral, as well as other past history. Nilishly manages to catch a glimpse of Lord Zosh praying in the very spot, not directly to the Lord of Light, but rather to Jason Tenderheart as an intermediary. Wesa at last recalls that the scroll which her mentor, Publia, left to lead her to the island contains vital information. Indeed, upon rereading it, the Storm Warden's name is clearly written: Tesserin. Would prior knowledge of his name change the Guardian's disposition? Impossible to know now. As night descends, the party makes the faithful decision to sleep deeply, thus guaranteeing that young Jason still in Barolos' camp will enact his desperate plan to delay the crazed chosen patrician and all of his men no later than dawn. During the night, a sulking Merrick sleeps away from his companions, and thus the spiritual protection of the temple. As a result, shadowy, moisture-stealing darklings assault whilst he slumbers. Two attach to his head, and he runs back into the temple, dislodging one. Nilishly invokes her ray of desiccation and pain, freeing him from the second, whilst Capio destroys a third that had also flown at Merrick. In the pre-dawn gloom, the Fellowship make their way to a lost village, the site of terrible deeds in the past. As they arrive, they catch sight of a being both horrifying and magnificent at once: a green dragon.